Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vulnerability Time podcast. I am your host, published author, and PhD candidate, Josias Abriel. Before we get started, folks, just a couple quick announcements. One, the show is now accepting donations. We need to get a new laptop to continue the show. So I have a Cash App in the episode description below. You just click on the link tree and you can donate. Anything helps. There's this used laptop that I was looking at, and it's about $600 something. So that I will be needing to get that to. I found like the best and cheapest used laptop to be able to record the show, because the current laptop, she's dying on us, folks, and the software and the updates, it's starting to do its thing again. So if you would like to donate to help the show out, please do so. Anything helps. Also, if you are listening on YouTube, give this a like. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give this a 5-star rating. It will help the algorithm. I do need 10 more 5 stars to continue the show. So if you could please do that, I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Alrighty, everyone. So we have with us a new special guest, Tracy. Tracy, tell us, before we get started into our topics, tell us a little bit about you. Any work you got coming out, any credentials that you want to share, anything like that. Like, just, yeah, let's get to know you a little bit before we get into our topics today.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Exciting. Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about, so my podcast is called Trauma Rock Stars. It's very near and dear to my heart, as most of our shows are to us. They're passion projects. And I started it because of my own trauma journey. Mm-hmm. And I actually, for many, many years, used to work in the music industry. Mm-hmm. So that's where Trauma Rock Stars came from, the name. And I have actually just, I've created a life audit quiz that's free that people can go on and take. And it's real quick. It's literally under 5 minutes at the most. It's 8 questions, and it kind of lets you know where you're at, like in your journey, and where you are with your energy deposits that you're putting out into the world and to other people in your life. And people that take it are pretty surprised at their findings. And I have a 30-day program that piggybacks off of that, depending on where you land, that can help you. It's fully guided by me. I guide you through it. So I'm your little best friend through the whole process, and I guide you through it, and I'm there holding your hand. And it's been really impactful on people. I've been getting great responses from it. So that's available. And then I'm also working on my book, which is, I'm hoping, it's a memoir about my journey. And I'm hoping that'll be out the end of the year. By the holidays is my goal.
Okay, wonderful. Now, congratulations. Now, where can we find this test that you said?
You can anywhere on socials. Everything is Trauma Rock Stars. So you can go right to my website if you want and take the free life audit quiz, or on social media. I have it. It's all over. You could just click on the link and take it.
Okay, fabulous. So folks, that'll be in the episode description below. So you can go and easy peasy, just click on it.
Yeah. It's real easy. 8 questions that you can zip right through. I mean, they're very quick and it's not designed to be stressful.
Yeah.
And the 30-day program is the same thing. Like, I designed that so I can help guide you through it, so you can get that time and things it's stuff that I didn't have available to me.
Right.
So I wanted this to be available, but it's very quick. Like, the 30-day program it's designed for people that are very busy. Right. That don't have a lot of time, that just want no BS. They want the tools, they want to be guided, and it's literally maybe 10 minutes a day.
Right.
But the transformation from day 1 to day 30 is
Mm.
significant. Like people learn so much about themselves.
Wow. Oh, we love that. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you for providing that
Hmm.
um service, Tracy. Um, Alrighty. And so speaking of trauma, so our topic today is becoming your own hero.
Hmm.
Tr- why that topic? What's your journey with that? Tell us why.
Well, my own trauma journey. Where do you want me to begin?
At the be as early as you can. We
I'll
want
give
to
you
the
a
whole
high
journey.
level and then you can like throw in your questions. How
Sure.
about that? So your listeners can just get an idea. When I was 12 years old, I was in a horrific auto accident. I was the only survivor, and I was burned on 70% of my body.
Hmm.
And I had several injuries and stuff, not just that. There were a lot going on after that accident. And I talk about that a lot. And then through my journey through that, dealing with the burns and surgeries, fast forward 4 years later, I was at a high school party trying to be normal, have somewhat of a normal life. And I was drugged and sexually assaulted by multiple boys. I don't want to say that I was targeted, but everybody knew my story.
Mm.
So, it was quite profound what happened. And me, I suppressed all of this for 40 years. I've suppressed this trauma for 40 years. So I started my healing journey 6 years ago, not intentionally.
Mhm.
I started meditating.
Yeah.
Very simple, just started to meditate. And when I started to meditate, I realized what a mess I was,
Mhm.
that I had never dealt with any of the stuff I had been through. And I started getting like answers, and I realized like I'm a hot mess. Like I have a lot of work to do. And so it was kind of accidentally that I started healing,
Mhm.
because I don't think we realize that we haven't really dealt with it because we
Right.
live our lives every single day.
Mhm.
And but
Mhm.
I hadn't dealt with any of it.
Yeah.
So when I started this journey, I've had profound experiences that have really helped me get to the other side of it. And that's when I got to the other side of it, I was like, I need to start a podcast because there's so many helpful modalities out there
Mm.
for people that are struggling that they may not even know is available for them.
Yeah.
Or they've maybe heard of something and they're afraid to try it, or they don't know anybody that has gone through that, So I wanted to start this and be very transparent about my own journey.
Yeah.
But I've had the most incredible guests on with their own journeys as well. And
Yeah.
so because trauma, there's no custom one size fits all.
Right.
Your journey is yours.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I wanted to provide tools for people where we can start this community, and these tools people can listen, and if it makes sense for them, they can customize their own healing journey. It's on their terms, how they want to do it. And you can take bits and pieces from like what's worked for me, what's worked for this person, what hasn't worked, and do what makes sense for you. And you can do it in a way where it's truly baby steps. It really is. If you look at the big picture of it, I was an absolute mess. Like I was a complete disaster, and it affected everything in my life, my entire life,
Mhm.
every
Mhm.
relationship I had, every job I had, everything. So I had a lot of work to do, but I took it in small doses
Yeah.
because when
Yeah.
you think about the big picture, it's so overwhelming.
Right. Mhm.
It's too much, and people are just trying to live their lives. And so I took it in little doses, but it's incredible like how those little steps create these big breakthroughs.
Yes. I have three things. One, if you see me look off to the side every now and then, I'm just making sure it's still recording, by the way. So I'm
Oh, you're
still
fine.
actively listening. Okay. And the second one, so when I was sexually abused, mine was by men as well. Um, my I started to hate all men. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if they never did anything to me. I just started to hate all men.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was so I'm just saying that to say, like, trauma, it's so complex. It will go in and change so many things. What are
Yes.
some things that you noticed it changed in you after those situations that occurred?
It's a really good question. I had so many breakthrough moments.
Hmm.
When I look back at at relationships, and I'm not just talking romantic relationships. I'm talking just
Right.
anybody you have in your life.
Hmm.
I put up with a lot of crap.
Hmm.
I was treated like shit. I
Hmm.
was taken advantage of, and I allowed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I didn't necessarily have the best circle around
Right.
me.
Mhm.
Um, because I was the type, I just wanted to be accepted and loved.
Right.
And when I was burned like that, I was like, nobody's ever going to love me. So I would kind of take whatever I could get.
Right.
But I also had no idea who I was, what I wanted in life, what I
Hmm.
deserved. So the
Hmm.
healing starts to show you these things.
Yeah.
So as you're healing, and I look back at all of these relationships and people and jobs and things, and I'm like, oh well, it all makes sense
Hmm. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I, you know, you're really a mirror, right?
Hmm.
Everything's a mirror of what you put out, your
Hmm.
energy you put out there. And when you're half in life, you're going to get half in results.
Hmm.
And so when I would think back at like just a random person, say there's this person named Pam that was in my life, for instance, when I think back of that relationship with her, she was a manager of mine.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I understand why that was a toxic environment because I was entering it already in a fight and flight mode.
Yeah.
And so it all makes sense. So I don't, not that any of that was my fault.
Right.
It was just all I had, that was all I had to work with what I knew at the time.
Right. Right.
So, so I look back now and I now I know, like, since I started healing, my circle has gotten super small.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's incredible though. It's because the quality of the people that it's opened up, like when you make room
Yeah.
for what you really want and you're aligned with that, it opens up the whole world and new possibilities and new
Yeah.
people. And excuse me. And I've got this incredible support system
Yeah.
that I've never had.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I can attest as well, like with my own healing journey from tons of trauma. Is
Mhm.
the more I healed, the higher my vibrations got, the higher my energy got, but the
Yes.
smaller my circle got, right? And just like Tracy was saying, like I too, didn't know any better. I was just putting up
Hmm.
with, because to me, in my eyes, I didn't even really see it as bad. I just saw it was better than what I had experienced,
Hmm.
right? So I'm like, well, as long as they're not, you know, beating me physically, or sexually abusing me, that's better. So therefore,
Yeah.
so it wasn't for me. It wasn't more so like oh, I see it as it was bad. It was just it was better, and because I didn't even know anything else, better must be love and acceptance, right? Like anything
Hmm.
other than that, yeah. So, but yes, the more I healed, the more it became quality over quantity.
Yeah.
It just seemed just naturally, yes. And so, yeah, I look back at, and I'm just like, well, I wouldn't put up with any of that I was putting up with before. I look
I
back now and I'm just like, yeah, I wouldn't put up with that anymore. I'm like, wow, I put up with that. And for folks listening, who haven't been through like trauma, because there are some people that haven't really been through trauma. They're not bad people, but I know folks say everyone's been through trauma, but there are literally some people that they really haven't, and so folks, trauma, it is so complex. Like, it will go in the nervous system, it will go in the brain, and it will literally physically alter things. Literally, it can literally alter DNA as well. So that's why, like, if that's why, so it's important. It's not our fault, but it is our responsibility to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we decide to have children, regardless if you're assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth, that child can experience the trauma because the parent didn't heal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also what's interesting, and so it's so important. But yeah, trauma is so complex, and I used to be really upset. I mean, I'm still a little upset at trauma just because I'm just like, wow, like the the burden and the blessing of healing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've
yes,
never heard it. I've never heard it said like that, but you're spot on
yes. Tell me why that resonated with you, Tracy.
because it's hard.
Yeah,
It is like
healing is hard. Yeah.
dealing with
Mhm.
whatever you've gone through is so brave, but
Mhm.
it's not for the weak at heart.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't
Right.
have, it can be like, you can turn it into a blessing
Yeah.
and learn from it. And it's funny, you said a couple things that were really important because I've learned so much about generational trauma.
Oh,
And it
God.
just doesn't come from our parents, it comes from our grandparents, what they
Right.
to them. And then
Mhm.
it's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
And I'm even learning more about, like, I don't know, what your listeners believe in and whatever. And I don't want to freak anybody out, but I'm even learning, like, people, that believe in past lives, like you can bring
Oh,
trauma
yeah.
from
We
that.
believe in I believe in past lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've heard about it.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
you can bring trauma even over from that, but
mhm. Mhm.
and I want people listening, like, I don't know, I feel like since the pandemic, we can kind of say that everyone's been through trauma at this point, you know?
Right. Right. Because that
It
that was something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That. Yeah.
that's a form of it, and there's
Yeah.
no, I don't want people listening to be like, "Well, I didn't go through anything, what she went through." It doesn't matter, trauma
Right.
doesn't
It's
have a
still
size.
valid.
It
Right.
doesn't right, it doesn't have, and
Mhm.
it's funny because when you look back, when you start healing and you really need to give yourself space.
Yes.
And I talk about that. Like I say, tell your circle, like, you've got some things going on.
Mhm.
You're not, it's nothing against them. You're not being distant. You just need some space, and you don't really owe anybody any explanations for anything in life,
Right.
but like
Right.
certain people you may want to. But it's funny, some people will just kind of fall off naturally out of your
Yeah.
life.
Mhm.
And it just happens. It happened, like the
I
universe
was
just,
literally gonna ask you about that.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just happens. And they
Mhm.
just kind of fall off. And then what it does is it opens up room for these new incredible people to come into your
Yes.
life.
Mhm.
And your circle does get smaller, but you value that because
Yeah.
when you start figuring out, like, this is my worth, this is what I deserve. And if I'm going to give you my all now, because I'm all in, you
Mhm.
better damn well deserve to receive that.
Yes.
And did you ever hear Taylor Swift? She says, our energy is like currency. Not everybody can afford it.
Oh, beautiful. No, I haven't heard it said like that, but I've heard it said. That's beautiful. That's true.
Yeah. So I'm like, now after I heard that, I'm like, she's so right. And I've said
Yeah.
that before, but not that way, not as
Mhm.
eloquently as she said it, obviously. And I don't care whether you like Taylor Swift or not, it's
Mhm.
true. And so now I'm like, okay, I write about this in the book. Am I a Mazda or am I a Mercedes?
Mhm.
Well, I'm a freaking Mercedes.
Right.
Like now,
Right. Right.
not that there's anything wrong with Mazdas. They're
Right. Right.
wonderful cars, but my level now
Mhm.
is up here
Mhm.
because you want to attract the same energy level that you're putting out there.
Right. Right. It's so funny because multiple times throughout this conversation, you end up saying things that I was already going to ask you, and you end up just answering it.
Well,
So
and
I,
you were saying things that I was already going to say.
oh my God, so we're in sync.
Yes.
We are in sync. Okay, so have you ever, so something that I'll start like this. Something that I am working on with, well, let me go off topic a little bit. So current fun fact, past lives. So this is my, after folks know, if they've been listening to at least last season or episode 130 and on, that I had a near death experience and I left my body and I got to see a lot of great things. I saw that this is my second time on Earth. My first lifetime, I was a Caucasian woman. I looked very similar to you, and yes, I. This is my. So that's my past life, and I always wondered why, as a kid, I was always, even before I could put two and two together and see that all these men are just causing so much abuse and trauma into my life. I was always for just women's rights, just
Mm-hmm.
anything women, I was always for. I'm just like, I don't care. I am so for women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for some reason, those who had struggled with drug addiction, I was just biasly just so caring to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw my past life when I died, when I was 15 and left my body. Um, Clearly, I'm still alive, folks. I came back. But when I left my body, I saw my past life, and I was a woman. That made sense, right? Why, as a kid, and so many kids, they embody so many aspects of their past life, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And and I also struggled with drug addiction, right?
Mm.
And
So
so,
that's where you have that
mhm.
place in your heart for that.
Yeah, I didn't mean it's just such an overwhelming like bias comfort towards them. Like I will just yeah, like, and I don't mean bias in like a negative way, but it's just like when I used to work at a fast food restaurant, that was my first job when I was 18, and there was this group. They went to NA, you know, for those who don't know what NA is, it's Narcotics Anonymous. And they would come in sometimes, and I would never charge them fries, and I would always give them free fries.
Mm.
I didn't do that with anyone, but I would make sure I made sure the manager wasn't looking. I would always give them free fries. I would say, "Did you want a
Mm-hmm.
shake as well? I can give you that for free." I was just so overwhelmingly proud of them and just comforted by them. I felt so much safety, and it stood out to me because some of them were men, and I never felt like that towards men back then. So
Yeah.
that, like in that time in my life, at around 18, I didn't start feeling safe around men until what, 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 28. So that's what stood out to me, and I was like, that makes so much sense. Okay, and so back on topic.
No,
um,
that's an incredible story, though. I
yeah,
mean, wow.
yes, thank you. Um, and it also makes sense why I just love the 80s nostalgia.
Yeah,
I was
that's a
like,
good era.
it's a great era.
Yep.
I died in it. That's when my first incarnate on Earth, died in it. It died in the 80s. So I think it was an automobile accident.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. But yes, well, she also didn't have the greatest life, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she didn't have the greatest life. So I believe I came back for a reason because I didn't finish certain things. But anyways, yes. So, something that the universe downloaded to me, or my higher self downloaded to me yesterday. And this goes into what you said about, sometimes people will leave, just
Mm-hmm.
fall off, right? So for so long, up until yesterday, I felt, because it still happens, right? When I meet someone new and then they just fall off, right? Um, it happens in the romantic sense. still, because that's the area I haven't learned yet
Mm-hmm.
to accept letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, um, I I was doing didn't know that I was doing half the work. So the download was, not only do I need to practice accepting letting go, but practice accepting being let go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just so healing for me. And I just feel so much lighter because I'm just literally internally actively practicing that, you know. And I know that the reason why I didn't get that download a year ago or a month ago, I was not ready to hear it. I probably wouldn't want to hear it. I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have received it, but I'm at such a place of surrender now because I I got let go, right? I didn't do anything. We just started talking, but I'm very open about, I've been through things when I grew up. I didn't even go into it. I'm just saying I've been through things,
Yeah.
because eventually I would want to share that with someone if I'm romantically, like if we're in a relationship. I want to share that with them eventually. I want to be vulnerable with them.
Of course.
Right. I feel like if I don't, I feel like I'm not being fully myself. It's just like I want this person to know. So I start little by little, right? And I just say I've been through things,
Mm-hmm.
and that I that they go away.
So that was a gift.
Oh, tell me how it was a gift for those of us listening, because I know I'm not the only one out there who felt like, oh wow, like no one can ever love me, even though I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm lovable. I'm still like, but can these humans love me? Now I'm not saying humans as in like I'm saying like romantically. Like I unfortunately I'm attracted to men, and I wish I could choose. I really do wish I could choose, um, but I can't.
Yeah,
So
no, you
I'm a
are who you are. There's nothing
yes,
wrong with that.
yes, nothing wrong with that. However, I've been fed up with men in the past. But for those of us, tell us why that is a gift, Tracy. I feel like you're going to say something that I need to hear and that a lot of us need to hear.
Well, you know why. And you know why, because that person was not at the same energy
Right.
level as you, first of all. And
Yeah,
you wouldn't have known
that's
that.
true.
You don't know that until you get to know somebody a little bit more, but
Mm,
you can feel it pretty quick.
you
If
can.
you're in touch with
You can. Yeah.
those deposits that you're putting out there to the world, and what you're receiving back, you can feel it pretty quickly. It takes
Yeah.
work, but this person did you a favor,
That's true.
and
Oh, yes.
they just beat you to the punch. That's all, because it would have happened regardless. You would have figured it out. It might have taken a couple more days, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
couple more
That's
weeks,
true.
but you would have figured it out. And it wasn't it it's not a rejection from that person. You can't
Mm,
look at it as a rejection. It's the
mm,
universe saying, no, no,
mm.
this is not your person. This person is not where you're at.
Right.
And you've done
Mm,
so much work that you don't want to be with somebody that's not at the same level as you.
that's so
It's a
true.
growth mindset.
Mm,
So if I wasn't with
yeah.
my boyfriend, and he's been with me through all of this, because my healing
Oh,
journey just started 5, 6 years ago. And
yeah.
so he's been with me through all of it. But if I wasn't with him, if I was dating
Mm,
and out in the universe, my very first question with somebody would say, what is your growth mindset? And that would tell me
mm.
everything I need to know about them.
I'm gonna start saying that.
And yeah, because it tells you, like, are they open? Are they trying to work on themselves, trying to
Right.
be the best version of themselves they
Mm,
can be, or are they just floating through life and you know
mm-hmm.
because I mean, we always, like, when we go through like trauma, like you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
what it biologically does, it shuts off a lot of our happy chemicals in our body.
Yeah.
So as we heal, slowly but surely, those get turned back on.
Yeah.
So you don't want somebody in your life that
That's true.
isn't can't meet you where you're
Right.
at,
Right.
right?
Right. And Tracy, you didn't even realize it, but you spiritually held me accountable because, yes, I did know. And you said some things that the universe told me. And I tell the universe, I was like, if it's you, if it's my higher self, you have to confirm it through somebody.
Hmm.
Because I don't want, I don't, because what if it's just my biases and me just saying things? So I was like, no, 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 I need to make sure that it's you. You confirmed it. You confirmed it because the universe told me last year, um, because you didn't want to let them go, I let them do the easy part and let you go. They
Hmm.
did you the favor.
Yeah.
And then it pushed me to look at it like in a higher perspective and just be like, that's true. Like, if I get to the end of my life and I get to that life review or get to my soul contract, and I would thank them. Thank you for letting me go because
Hmm.
that helped me to continue in my journey. Otherwise, I would have been stuck. But because of you, I got to progress. So to
Yeah,
see it
and
that
and
way,
and open
yeah,
up that space for
yeah,
that person that is aligned with you to come in, because
right,
that it's not that it's dragging you down.
right,
It's not that you're a better person than them or anything like
mhm,
that. It's
right.
just they're taking up that space that's being held for someone else.
Yes,
That's
and
better.
they say to, someone can be healthy and a good person, but if y'all just aren't aligned,
Yes, of
it
course.
can make you
Yep.
stagnant. And so that's the thing.
And
Yeah.
not and every relationship takes a lot of work, as you know,
Mhm.
whether it's friendships or
Right.
romantic work. They all
Mhm.
take constant work. But here's the thing. In our romantic relationships, the people that we want to share our lives with,
Mhm.
I heard this and it has never ever left my mind,
Ooh.
because there's always red flags, like we
Yeah.
always that we ignore, and trauma survivors love to ignore red flags
Yeah, we do.
because we're like, we feel like we're broken.
Right.
So why should we, judge someone else's red flags? But the problem is we're not broken. We're
Yeah.
just traumatized. We just need to heal. And you can't take on other people's crap.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they say, is when you get the red flags you ignore in the beginning will ultimately end the relationship at the end.
Mm. Mm. Powerful.
Yeah. And that's always stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about quirky things. I'm talking about
Right.
like major, like red
Yeah.
flags, you know? So
Yeah.
look for the green flags, right? And maybe
Yes.
even yellow flags, but the things we ignore in the beginning, because
Mhm.
especially new relationships can be exciting and everybody wants
Mhm.
somebody to share their life with, but you ignore those, it's going to ultimately break you up in the end.
Right. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Um, Two things. One, the most impactful people that I have met. I'm not saying those who haven't been through trauma, like or I'm can't be impactful. I'm not saying that at all, folks. I'm saying like the most impactful people that I have met, that have impacted me the most, have been through trauma, like
Hmm.
trauma, right? Like, and not one trauma is like trauma. Like, yes, one can be more severe than the other, but they're all equally valid. Just want
Yes.
to throw that out there. So, Tracy, and look at you now, helping the world.
I'm trying.
Yes. And so it's like, I love that no pain went in vain, right? Because that's my thing with the universe. I'm just like, this is where I bump heads with the universe. I was like, went through pain, great. If I find that someone else went through pain, okay. Universe, just please tell me it's just not in vain. Please tell me the person just didn't, or I just didn't go through pain and nothing came from it. I was like, because I was like, that is not okay. So I was like, universe? So that
Well,
to me, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
well, I'm going to tell you, I don't want you to, I'm going to tell you something, and I want this to stick with you
Okay.
because this is something that I learned in that on
Mm,
this topic that you're talking about.
mm,
Your what you went through
mhm,
is actually your superpower.
oh, mm,
So, you know, like I always say, vulnerability is the secret sauce, right?
yes.
But what you went through, that actually can become your superpower.
That is very
And
true.
you need to look at that as a gift, another gift. Is horrible,
Mm,
none of us ask for any of the things that happen to us, but how can you turn that into something that, you know, you can put on that Superman cape and
mm,
rule the world with it? And another thing that you had said that I want to mention about vulnerability is like healing is really scary. And a lot of people, we avoid it because the it could be, your journey could be massive. Mine was massive.
mhm, mhm.
But you don't have to. Now that I'm on the other side, I look at it now that it was all these steps were such a gift.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten so much wisdom from it, and I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you about it. Like normally, like I would get butterflies in my stomach or upset to my stomach, and I don't get any of that anymore. And one thing about healing is I want people to remember there's going to be times when you feel like you're taking a step or two forward and then you get knocked down 10 steps back because
Right.
we all get triggered. Like the stupidest things in the world can trigger you. You
Mhm.
don't even know why.
Yeah.
But you know why you're taking those 10 steps backwards?
Mm,
Because you didn't get the lesson the first time.
mm,
So you need to take those steps back and really reflect on it and not look at it. It's not a step backwards.
right.
It's just a lesson that you just haven't learned the full picture on yet.
Mhm.
So once you do, the universe doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
So
Right.
once you do that, then you'll get back. You'll probably like catapult past where you were before.
Mhm.
But I've had that happen to me so many times, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this happening? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
because I didn't get the message the first
Mhm.
time or the second time or the
Yeah.
third time. And then when I finally got it, I was like, whoo, I'm way on the other side of this now. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So now I look at it as a challenge.
Mhm.
So if I get stuck, if I get knocked down or I feel like I don't, I'm like, oh, okay, what's the lesson here?
Yeah.
What am I not getting?
Yeah. Mm.
And so if you look at it like that, it takes that pressure and that weight off of you because we all have gifts
Yeah.
that we can offer. And I'm not saying everybody that's been through trauma should start a podcast and tell the world about their problems. Like you don't have to do that. You can keep
Mhm.
it very private. You don't have
Right.
to talk to a soul.
Right.
It's your journey.
Mhm.
But look at it as a growth opportunity that I think I said this when we were talking before.
Mhm.
You've already been through the worst you're going to go through.
Mhm.
You've already been through the worst. So this part of it is just putting yourself back together. Just
Yes.
getting those pieces of puzzle back together.
That is very true. Well, two things. One, I like that, um, you're mentioning, the hard parts of the healing journey, you
It's
know?
very hard.
Yeah. Because usually when I have seen videos about like or videos of someone like healing, it seems pretty and things like that, but
Oh
there
yeah.
there can be those pretty moments, but there can also be those ugly moments. Both are very necessary. I've definitely times in my healing journey where I was like, oh, I'm on top of the world, I got this is so great, easy, look at
Mhm.
me, I'm proud of me, wow. And then there's those moments where I'm just like, wow, is this worth it? Like, why? Why? And then just ugly crying and
Yeah.
random crying, so
Out of
yes.
nowhere.
Yes, and that's actually a good sign if you random
Yes.
cry. Yeah, folks, did you know that's a good sign if you just feel like randomly crying? if you're in your healing journey. I
Well,
learned that.
your body needs that release.
Yes, it needs to release. So it's just like
Hmm.
it's a forward action, and I
And
love
it's
that.
not, yeah, it's not a weakness, it's a strength.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so something that you mentioned is um, putting yourself back together. That
Yeah.
is something that I'm still in the process of doing. I'm in the I say I'm already whole. I'm just putting myself back together. And because I have felt um so into pieces, right? And
Hmm.
I have felt like I wasn't whole. And so one of the more significant things that came themes not things themes that came out of my from the years of abuse was that abandonment wound.
Yeah.
Was that something that is missing, something that was taken, and it's like being robbed and being robbed of riches, and it's like that emptiness and never knowing if you're going to get that feeling of not knowing if you're going to get that back, right? So I've noticed over the years me putting pieces back together and building new, stronger, bigger structures back
Hmm.
together. And one of those that is real, and this is why when I saw that men just kept leaving, even though they said I was so great and all that stuff, um, I knew it was a strategic learning lesson that I
Hmm.
just was not getting just yet. And so this is getting towards the letting go and being the accepting of being let go. That is really getting to the root of the abandonment wound, because that was my biggest wound. I mean, I feel like there's so much that I've healed and healing, there's so much that I
Hmm.
got the epiphanies and I got, but this is that one thing that just I could not get. I could not understand. I knew it was a lesson. I just did not know what to learn, how to learn it. It just kept happening, but I'm like, well, give me something here, and it turns out it was something that I was just supposed to learn through experience. Something that I was supposed to
Hmm.
just learn through over and over and over because um yeah, so it's that. So the newest stage, and I'm so grateful, was, you know, not just accepting letting go, but accepting being let go.
Hmm.
You know, yeah,
They're doing you a favor.
yes, exactly,
Can I ask you
exactly.
a question?
Yeah, sure, yes, of
And
course.
this is a great question for you because you went through your NDE. And so, and you know what one of your past lives were. I'm sure if you had more, but
Well, I've had tons, but not on Earth.
yeah, okay. So you figured that out. So let me ask you this question.
Hmm.
We're here on earth to learn and to grow
Hmm.
and to share and to
Right,
help other people.
right.
And, to hopefully be some contribute somehow to the universe to make it a better place. How can we ever be whole if we're constantly on a healing journey?
Hmm.
We can't ever be whole
Hmm.
because like for me with mine, like I'm totally on the other side of that journey, but
Yeah.
I'm not even close to being over because now,
Mm.
and I don't know if you've ever felt this, but now that I've discovered these things through myself, and like you said, you discovered yourself in that past life, and you've gotten these downloads of information, it almost becomes addictive. Like I want to get deeper. I want to find
Yes.
out as much as I can. I want to go as deep as I can. I want to be
Yeah.
the best version of myself. And that's not going to be until my life is over.
Right.
So, how can we ever be whole if we're
Right.
constantly on a learning journey?
Mm. You know, you had mentioned something that is definitely something. The words that came out of my mouth last year is that I'm addicted to healing.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to healing. You know, there did come up there is this point in my healing journey, and it was a recent point where, and let me know what you think about this, where my the healing, the intent wasn't to heal necessarily anymore. The intent was just because I didn't want to accept certain parts of myself. It was a
Mm-hmm.
form of, the intent was self rejection.
Mm-hmm.
To heal just because you know, when I want to be practicing acceptance of me in this new version of me. I've
Mm-hmm.
accepted me before, but now I'm a new version. We evolve in our healing journey, and so the acceptance. So, how have you ever felt like that? Like, you know, the healing, your intent for healing no longer became. It turned into, now the intent is of healing, but the intent is just, I just don't. I'm just rejecting this part of myself, but I'm just gonna disguise it as a healing because I don't
Well,
want to
and
accept.
yeah, what I went through that, through my meditation practice, you
Mm,
mentioned higher self, and I do a lot of
mhm.
inner child work and things like
Very important,
things.
folks.
It's very important, you
Hmm.
guys. Um, Part of that is doing shadow work and looking at
Yes.
the
Mm,
yucky parts of ourselves that we don't want to, that we
mhm.
don't want to face, but there's a reason why that's there. And I
Right. Right.
think that going through learning those things are just tools, or just more tools to give you
Mm,
to work with. And we all have, like, I'm constantly like doing shadow work. It's scary, but I need to, because I need to see what led me to do that, or say that, or
yeah.
act like that, or do whatever. But one thing, when I first started doing it, that was really like, you could have smacked me upside the head with it, but was
Yeah.
grief. I was grieving that life that is no longer there, because
Right.
I've gotten past that. I'm on a different journey now. But I
Hmm.
was also grieving why, what would my life have been like if that hadn't happened to me. So I had to allow
Right.
myself to go through a grieving
Right.
process of what I had lost, what could have been,
Right.
and not to look back, because
Right.
we move forward, right? But I mean, but I had to allow myself that time to grieve that.
Yes. Hmm.
And it was so healing, just allowing myself to do that. And it was like maybe a couple days. I was just kind of like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, and everybody's grief is different, but
Hmm.
that's part of it.
Right. I love that you said that, because for me, it took a couple years
Yeah.
to let myself grieve what could have been, to get
Yeah.
through that stage, because I was told, oh, don't look to the past, or don't do but what if we needed to grieve that to move forward? And
Yes.
so, yeah.
A
Mhm.
100%, because again, that's another release
Yes.
that you have to get out of your
Mhm.
nervous system. And there's nothing
Right.
wrong with that. Like, you
Right.
and I know people, we don't want to live in the past.
Right.
But this
Right.
isn't about living in the past.
Right.
This is about learning a piece of you and reflecting on that, and allowing
Mhm.
yourself some time to grieve that, get past that, and then
Yes.
release it and let it go.
Right. Yes, this is um not about living in the past. This is about releasing for the future.
Yes,
Yes.
100%. That's
Mhm.
again creates more space. It creates more space.
Yes. You know what? Let me read you something. There's something that I wanted to read, if I can find it. If I can find it. Do. So I said in my, okay, where is it? It's getting closer. I feel it. Um, learn how to turn pieces into broken of art. Oh, well, Well, I can't find it. I mean, it's here, but I don't. Oh. Okay. Because I go back and forth on the being whole. And sometimes I ask myself, is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Um, why that goal, right? So I put in my poem, why do I keep trying to be whole? What if broken into pieces doesn't mean I am broken into pieces? Let me show you what I built with these pieces.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're on this journey, because like you said you were addicted to healing.
Yeah.
Because you are, like, once you start,
Mm-hmm.
you want more, you
You
want more,
do.
you want more, you want to dig deeper. Why would you want to be whole? Because
Mm-hmm.
that means you're done learning.
That's true.
You're done expanding your heart and your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you don't want to be whole? You want to keep getting the lessons and the messages, and for the rest of this life that you have. So you don't want to be, I think, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that if you look at it that way, then it
Yeah.
takes that pressure off of
Very,
being
very.
perfect, right?
Mm. Say that last part again. It takes the pressure off. Say that
It's
again.
of trying to be perfect and
Mm-hmm.
whole. Like you don't want, that's not what you want. Because if you're not constantly
Mm-hmm.
learning, how can you help other people? And how can you
Mm-hmm.
project new energy out to the world if all of a sudden you hit
Mm.
this point and it's like hitting a wall and you're done?
Right. Mm. Oh, I needed to hear that. That was beautiful. That was absolutely
This is
fabulous.
why we do this, because we talk to each
Yes.
other and we lift each
Yes.
other up and we help each other.
Yes.
We form a community, and then
Yes.
we can help each other and give each
Mm-hmm.
other, advice, and it's
Yes.
just that itself is therapeutic.
Yes. And last thing, before we wrap up, I really loved what you said. Is that, what if our past is our superpower? Because this podcast would not even exist
No.
if I didn't go. Yeah. If I didn't go through that, this podcast would not exist. I would not have walked into um, very beautiful doors.
Hmm.
I would not have experienced some pretty cool things um, because of, if I didn't go through what I went through. So,
And do you know how many
yeah.
people that you've inspired that you don't even know? Because people don't come forward. Some people do, but some people don't. But there's somebody out there that has heard you talk and heard your story, and it's been that step that they've needed, that they haven't communicated it, but in your heart what you're doing and what you're giving the world is you.
Yeah.
And think about that. You're
Thank you,
so sweet.
Tracy. Um, Thank you. Um, Folks, before we wrap up, Tracy, tell us one more time where we can find your work. It'll
It's
be
so easy.
and what it is.
Everything's Trauma Rock Stars. So the show is on all platforms, and all socials is Trauma Rock Stars. And people message me through Messenger, or you can even email me. You can email me at podcast@traumarockstars.com, and I will I will actually answer you and get back to you. I love, so many people like have just reached out and sent the nicest messages, and this is why you and I are doing this, because we want to be there to help people through, and and maybe inspire people to light that little fire under their butts to
Yeah.
start, taking that one little baby step.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Folks, if no one today has told you that you are loved and worthy of healing, allow me to be the first and allow yourself to be the second. You are loved and worthy of healing. Alrighty. Okay. Well, Tracy, you stay on a couple of seconds. I'm going to close out the show. Folks, see y'all next episode for whatever that will be.